I'm in conversation with Manohar Loka Reddy, Chairman of NETLINX Limited, a Hyderabad-based internet infrastructure company. So you've signed a deal with SV Power Projects, and that is a green energy business. So that brings me to my first question. From being an internet service provider to green energy, what has been the rationale for this acquisition?
We are trying to diversify part of our portfolio.
Okay.
And we are trying to make something that will give us a constant income. So this is part of our first diversification.
So as we understand, you would hold a controlling stake of 51% in the company. Tell us something about this acquisition, what led you to it, and why this acquisition?
We felt that this is an important part of us because we are trying to save the environment, and we are trying to make sure the underground pollution doesn't happen from the landfills.
So how does this acquisition work out between both the parties? What would be the total amount that would go out of NETLINX?
Total, both of us would be putting in about 60 crores of investment with a 140 crores from a bank. We would be holding 51% of that equity. 49% would be held by SV Green promoter, Mr. Venkateshwara.
And how would NETLINX Limited be funding this project?
We would be disposing of certain of our real estate assets, a small percentage of our real estate assets, and then using that cash flow to pay for it. So it would all be from internal accruals.
Also, when we talk about NETLINX and your business, do you see any impact of that on NETLINX Limited? And if yes, what kind of an impact would that be?
We would see that at least 5 rupees per share coming on to our balance sheet every year, because it's a 51% part of the revenue we would take into our consolidated balance sheet. So there would be a higher profitability every year.
But since there will be, cash going out to buy out that stake as well.
Cash has just changed the forms in the company. We have not taken debt in NETLINX Limited.
Okay.
Therefore, there is no liability that is created. It's only in terms of return. So we have just converted the land into cash, which we have used for SV Green.
Okay, and how does that change the total assets for NETLINX Realty?
NETLINX Realty would be dropping about 30% of its assets, but then the parent company would have that coming in terms of recurrent revenue every year.
So also considering that the profitability of NETLINX Limited has gone down by nearly 90% on a year-on-year basis, do you see this acquisition turning that around, and how?
One we see is during the time of monetization there would be an increased income because the consolidation of realty would come onto the parent balance sheet. Subsequently, we feel that whatever our business outlook is, that there would be a guaranteed cash coming in from SV Green into our balance sheet.
So what is the tariff arrangement between SV Green and...
Right now, the State Regulatory Board is giving us 7 rupees 40 paisa in terms of power tariff, and that increases year on year for a 20-year period.
For a 20-year period. So how did you manage to get a competitive pricing for your green energy business, considering the others in the same, say, a solar energy plant or wind power plant gets a 2 rupee or a 3 rupee per unit price?
Because Telangana government realized that by putting a landfill, there was causing more amount of problems and generations of land would get destroyed. So therefore, they had given a competitive pricing to make sure that the energy part is generated from it to save the environment.
What is the kind of profitability you see this plant would have in the next 1 year?
We are expecting from day one we would have about a 30% profitability.
And in terms of power tariff, what is the kind of appreciation in tariff that you're looking at on a year-on-year basis?
Year-on-year basis, that is the State Regulatory Board has fixed about 2% tariff increase, and certain times they will increase based on the requirement part of it.
So when it comes to setting up the entire plant, what will be the total cost that will go towards that?
About 200 crores.
And how will that be funded?
It will be 140 crores from the bank and 60 crores from both the promoters put together.
And the 140 crore debt servicing will come from the?
From the revenue generation of the company.
From
SV Green
Power
itself.
Plant. Okay. Also, when you look at this acquisition, do you feel you would be looking at increasing the capacity of the plant in the longer term, or do you look at similar acquisitions in the green energy space?
We are looking at a couple of more acquisitions in the same space. We feel it's a good way to also help the environment, but also keep the company profitable.
Would those be Telangana focused as well, or would you be expanding?
We would look anywhere in India that we can expand out. Telangana also is high on our priority list.
This acquisition does not change the debt to equity for the company, does it?
It does not change any debt for the company because we just monetize the land
Assets.
to cash.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very
speaking
much.
to BloombergQuint.